Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a long time. It's been several months since I've posted anything or done a podcast with anybody talking about my experiences in Ukraine. I've just been real busy, um, trying to settle back here in the States, get on routine, work. I actually just moved states, so I was in Texas, now I'm in Tennessee, up in the beautiful mountains. So I've just had a lot going on trying to figure things out. But I know a lot of people still hit me up on like Instagram or on my YouTube channel. YouTube is mostly all my pro Russian followers. I think I have like 73% of my following on YouTube is in Russia. So if you're in Russia, what's up? But yeah, so I've just been real busy. I know everybody's been kind of wanting to know my experiences in Ukraine, and different things like that. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna make a few videos and just kind of talking about my experiences in Ukraine, my personal experiences that led me to get to Ukraine, my qualifications, my basically my military background and stuff like that, and why I chose to go to Ukraine. Some stories about being in Ukraine, stuff like that, just different experiences that I had that I've shared a lot of it on a few of the different podcasts that I've done with different people, but I never really went like too in depth with those guys, just for, I guess, time's sake. You know, I'm only with them for a short amount of time, but with my own channel, I can sit here and do nothing all day except for talk to you guys and make videos. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. I might have some podcasts coming up in the future. I might start my own podcast. I don't know. Either I will or I won't. I guess we'll all wait and find out. But about me, I go by Sleazy. That guy Sleazy. That's me. That's this guy right here. I was in the United States Marine Corps in 2013. It's something I always wanted to do since I was knee high to a grasshopper. Like, that's what I wanted to do. You see all the movies about, these badass operators, like flying in, rappelling from a helicopter, doing like boogeyman shit, fucking kicking in doors and snatching the bad guy in the middle of the night and just doing like this really cool shit. That's what I wanted to do. Always, that's what I wanted to do. So I go through school, go through childhood, everything like that. And a week after I graduated high school, boom, I'm at boot camp in the Marine Corps. And I'm doing my thing there, going through basic training. And the last day of basic training, we always have our senior drill instructor kind of gets everybody in a little school circle and is talking to everybody and saying, hey, you're going here. Hey, you're going there. Hey, this is your job. You're going there. Well, he got to me and he goes, hey, you're going to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. You're a 5811. Well, that's not the contract I signed. The contract I signed was to be an infantryman. Somebody who kicks down doors, goes, does infantry stuff. That way I can work my way up into being one of those badass operators. And so I raised my hand. I was like, Staff Sergeant, it's not my contract. What is a 5811? And his exact words were, shut the fuck up. Welcome to the Marine Corps. And that's really how it was. Like, it was the needs of the Marine Corps. Whatever the Marine Corps wanted to do with you, they were going to do to you. So that was my first, we call it the green weenie in the military, in the Marine Corps. So that was my first experience of the green weenie. When I was going through basic training, our government shut down for a little bit. We were also pulling out of the war, so they were cutting back on a lot of different jobs and everything like that. Obviously, one of the jobs to cut back was infantry, because we don't need infantry anymore because we're pulling out of the war. So, needs of the Marine Corps, I became a 5811, which is an MP, military police officer. Was not happy about that at all, because that's not what I wanted to do at all. So, go through Marine combat training, because every Marine's a rifleman, so we all learn basic infantry skills. I do a month long of infantry training, basically patrols. We got into MOUNT, which is what is it? The acronym for Marines, Military, and Mount, M-O-U-T. I don't know, something built up terrain or something like that. Basically, it's CQB, fighting inside of buildings and inside of cities and stuff like that. So that's where we kind of scratched the surface on that, and I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. And then I go to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and that's where I learned that there's actually two sides to the MP field. So you have your garrison MPs, or PMO, Provost Marshal's Office, and then you have field MPs. Your garrison MPs are your everyday police officers, the ones that you have out in every city, county, state, whatever. That is your generic police officer. They're doing traffic stops, they're going to calls. It's your police officer. Then you have field MPs. And the best way I can describe a field MP is you are kind of like an infantryman, but you have other responsibilities. So what I mean by that is we still do convoys, we still do patrols, we go into villages and stuff like that, but we're also conducting VCPs, vehicle control points, TCPs. We're doing snatch and grabs on people that we have interest in. We take the POWs, all different stuff like that is what MPs do. So I was like, hell yeah, I can still kind of be an infantryman without being an infantryman. So I really grasped onto all that training. That's where I learned how to, I used the Mark 19 and the Browning 50 cal. That's where I learned those weapon systems, because we'd mount those onto Humvees and go do our patrols, or we would do our attacks on villages and stuff like that, or on a known enemy combatant position. So that's where we learned all that extra training. So I got all that extra infantry training, aside from combat training. And then it came time to go to the fleet, the operating forces of the Marine Corps. Again, I got the green weenie, and there was 5 people in our whole class that did not go to a field unit and become a field MP. I was one of them. I was stationed out in Beaufort, South Carolina, which, if anybody knows about Beaufort, South Carolina, it sucks. It's a swamp. That's it. There's nothing out there. It's an air winger base, so there's not much fun happening. It's very boring. It's a retirement area. That's where we make a joke in the Marine Corps, is like, if you go to Beaufort, South Carolina, that's where you're ending your career. Like, that's where people go to retire. They're done. Like, that's it. So I went there, and there I did okay. I did some extra follow-on training because we actually did a lot of CQB training there, just because of all the big buildings on the installation. We would train for active shooters and stuff like that. Well, that really coincides with CQB, because we're learning how to tactfully and quickly clear buildings with unknown threats or known threats. So you have to really learn how to attack a building from within inside the building. So that's where a lot of my CQB skills came from. We did a lot of training on that. So fast forward a little bit, I was there for a couple years, just kind of doing my thing. I finally cut orders to go to Okinawa, Japan. I was going to the 3rd LE, which is a field unit, field MP unit. I was super excited. I was like, hell yeah, finally get to go do what I've always been wanting to do. Like, time to shine. When I was home on leave, unfortunately, I watched both my parents get killed by a drunk driver. So I ended up getting out of the Marine Corps to take care of my parents' estate and all of that stuff. And I was also disgruntled at the Marine Corps because I just went through an NJP. They took my rank because I got caught having 2 beers the day before my 21st birthday. So I was a little pissed off at the Marine Corps for that, but you know, it is what it is. So I got out of the Marine Corps, and then I just kind of bounced around from job to job. Fast forward, and that was 2016. Fast forward to let's say January, maybe February. Yeah, January of 22. I was living with a buddy of mine, getting ready to go to college for veterinarian school, actually. And I was watching different things going on with the Russian-Ukraine conflict, because I already knew it had been going on since 2014. And so I already kind of like had a small idea of what was going on with it. I had it on some of my Telegram channels and stuff like that. But I never paid too much attention to it. I thought it was just, you know, one of those other little conflicts on the other side of the world that doesn't really matter and it isn't really going to amount to much, just like most of the conflicts, little bitty skirmishes around the world. Well, leading up to Russia's mass invasion, I was sitting there looking, I was like, this is going to happen. Like, just knowing my military knowledge of things, like, there's no way Russia is going to have this amount of troops on the border of a country that they're already at war with for training. Yeah, they're training because they're about to launch a massive assault. And that's exactly what they did. I was watching the news and watching everything go off. I was watching my Telegram channel and seeing everything happen. And part of me, I went to Ukraine on a couple different reasons. Part of me was disgusted by what was going on. Civilians just literally being shot in the street. Apartment buildings getting blown. Tank rounds are literally just flying into apartment buildings, or you had an S-300 fly into an apartment building, or shopettes are getting blown up and shot at. You know, civilians are being tortured. You can literally see countless videos and pictures of civilians with their hands tied behind their back, shot in the face, execution style, in the middle of the street. And they're just civilians. So that really angered me and upset me, because that's just wrong, you know, to do stuff like that. Another part of me wanted to go to Ukraine because my whole life, all I ever wanted to do was go be an operator, go do that cool guy stuff, go to war, go to fight. And I didn't get the opportunity to do that because we were pulling out of the war. And then I got out of the Marine Corps because my parents got killed. So part of me was also selfish in a way because I wanted to go do that. I wanted to experience that. So when I'm watching everything happen, I thought to myself, I was like, I have a skill set that not a lot of people have. I'm just living with a buddy, getting ready to go to school. I don't have a family. I don't have a wife, kids, anything like that. So I thought to myself, I don't want, you know, in 30, 40 years, whichever way the war went, whether Russia won or Ukraine won, to be sitting at home or on the porch or talking with my kids or my grandkids and saying and having regret that I could have gone and done something. I could have helped in some way. So right then and there, I decided I'm going to Ukraine. I'm going to go. So that's what I did. At that time, Zelensky came out with the International Legion, and I submitted my paperwork and everything like that to the U.S. or to the Ukrainian embassy here in the States, and I waited for like a week, and I didn't hear back from anything. And while I'm waiting, I'm talking to a couple of my close buddies, and two of them were trying to convince me not to go. They were like, hey, you know, it's not our war. You know, it's not our problem. That's a them problem, not an us problem. But I didn't. I was like, no, like somebody has to help stop that. I was like, I have I guess like a, what is it? A motto, I guess, or a saying. And it basically is, if you have the means to help somebody, you have a responsibility to help them. Well, I have the means to go to Ukraine and I have the means to help. So I have a responsibility to go to Ukraine and to go help. So that's what I did. I waited. I didn't hear back, so I sent it again. And while I was waiting to hear back from the embassy this time, I just got on Reddit and was starting to go through different chat rooms about things, trying to figure out other foreigners going to Ukraine to fight and help and everything like that, and how they were doing that process. And along the way, I got in contact with the Ukrainian commander. And I don't remember his name or anything like that, but I messaged him. I said, hey, this is who I am. These are my qualifications. I have certificates and paperwork to back everything that I'm saying up. How do I come to Ukraine and how do I join your unit? He replied back with, buy a plane ticket to Poland. It's crazy. Buy a plane ticket to Poland. Go to this safe house. Let me know when you're at this safe house, and then we'll get you into Ukraine to come to our unit. And I was like, man, this is sketch. Like, this is very sketchy. That's like basically the white van going down the street that says free candy across the side of it with no windows. Like, sketch. So I'm kind of asking him some questions, you know, like, hey, you know, without giving away OPSEC, Operation Security, and trying to like dig out a little bit of information from him. But all I ever got was buy a plane ticket to Poland, go to this safe house, let me know when you're there, we'll get you here. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And the whole time, a couple of my family members, they're asking me all kinds of questions because I just told them that I was going to Ukraine. So they're like, you know, do you know anybody out there? You know, what unit you're gonna be with? Like, you know, all the questions of them worrying about me going to war. And I knew if I told them that I didn't know anybody out there, that I didn't know what I was doing, and that I was just going to Poland to go to this safe house to get into Ukraine, I knew they would flip their shit and they would just worry even more about me. So I told them that I had a couple buddies from the Marine Corps that were already over there. They were doing contract work, and I was going to link up with them and start doing contract work with them in Ukraine. And that kind of made you know, them feel a little bit better, but still obviously worried about me. You know, I'm going to a war. So we are now end of March. No, middle of March, and yeah, end of March time frame. And I fly to Poland. I get there, message the commander and said, hey, you know, I just landed in Poland. I'm en route to this fucking safe house. I get in a taxi and I just kind of show him the address because I don't speak Polish. So he goes, okay. We drive, you know, probably about an hour or so. Pull up to this hotel. And I was like, I guess, and we are in the middle of nowhere, so I was like, I guess this is the safe house. Like, this is it. So so I get out, and I get, you know, I got my sea bag, I got my deployment bag, and I got a backpack, you know, of all my combat gear and you know, stuff that I'll need to go fight, minus a weapon. So I go into this hotel, and there's like probably like 30 cop cars like out in front of it, and vans and stuff like that, like all just sitting there. So I like carefully kind of like walk in there, and I asked her, I said, hey, you know, I need to get a room for the night. And she was like, we don't have any rooms, like we're sold out. And I was like, I was told to come here as a foreign fighter to go to Ukraine. I was like, is this not the address? And I showed her the address on my phone. She was like, no, it's over there. Well, my taxi driver just drove off. Like, he's gone. I don't have a number for a taxi, nothing. So I asked her, I was like, how far is it? She was like, it's just over that little hill. And the hill was probably maybe 500 meters away. It wasn't far. So I was like, all right, I'll just walk, whatever. So I start walking. I get to the top of the little hill, and I see like couple little huts and stuff like that off to the left. I was like, oh, maybe this is it. So I go over there and I knock on one of the doors. Somebody answers, and you know, I'm trying to talk in English, and they don't really speak English. So I'm pulling up my translator app, but I'm in the middle of nowhere, Poland, so I don't have really any service. So I happened to just be able to have a picture of the address of where I needed to go, and he pointed down the hill again. And I was like, dang, it's even further than I thought. I was like, and I tried to ask him like how far, but he didn't understand what I was saying. So he went back inside and I started walking. So now I can see probably another 800 meters down that there's a like little building and stuff like that. And I was like, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Hopefully that's it. So I got my sea bag on, I got my backpack on my chest, and I'm wheeling my my deployment bag with all my kit and everything. And it starts raining on me. Of course, it starts raining on me. And so I finally get to this hotel, and as soon as I walk in, I hear some people speaking English over off to the side, and I was like, oh, I have to be in the right place. Like, there's no way these people are speaking English, and this isn't the right place. So now I'm trying to talk to the receptionist and get in a room, and again, she's telling me that they're full. And one of the guys that was speaking English in the little lobby over to the side, he came over and he started speaking Polish and was asking me like, "Hey, are you going to Ukraine? Like, you here to fight and everything like that?" Excuse me, speaking English to me, asked me all those questions, and then spoke Polish to the receptionist, basically telling her that I was a foreign fighter going to Ukraine to fight on behalf of Ukraine, and she said, okay, cool, perfect. And she walked me up to this little loft on top of, like, over where, like, their, kind of like their dining room was for, like, the guests to eat and everything. And on this loft, they had mattresses laying on the floor. They ran power cables up there. And that's where I slept for the night for free. Like, they let us stay there for free. And I met some foreigners. And, you know, one thing that they don't talk about, some people talk about it, but I think on a later video, I'll go more in depth on it just a little bit. How many clowns, absolute clowns, there are from foreign countries going to Ukraine to fight or to help and do stuff like that when they have absolutely zero knowledge, or they have a little bit of knowledge, or they watch something on YouTube and now they think they're an expert at it, and they're going to Ukraine to either fight, train, or help in some capacity. But they're not doing any good. They're doing more harm than good. And they're only there for their what's the word I'm looking for? Part of having a TBI, I forget stuff all the time, and I forget like words that I'm trying to say, or I forget what I'm talking about. And I'll go more in depth on it on my TBI and everything like that I got in Ukraine on another video as well. But anyways, they're clowns. They're there for themselves, 100% for themselves, nothing else, 100% for themselves. And I ended up meeting one of those at this little hotel. And at the time, at face value, I thought he was a stand-up dude. I thought he was good to go. You know, he was from Norway. He had a French Foreign Legion tattoo on his arm. I don't really know much about the French Foreign Legion. Like, I know who they are, what they do, but like, I don't know enough about the French Foreign Legion to tell you if you were actually if you're an actual Legionnaire or not. And really, only a Legionnaire can tell you if you're a Legionnaire or not, because they know the specific questions to ask. They know the right verbiage. Same thing as if somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, you know, I'm a Marine." Okay, cool. Within 3 to 5 questions, I can find out if you're full of shit or if you're legit. Because I'm a Marine. Like, with some of the things that we say, some of the things that we do, how we say things, you know, you just know. So anyway, I contacted this commander again that I got to the little safe house and hotel, and still no reply. I hit him up when I got in Poland, no reply. Hit him up when I got to the hotel, no reply. And now I'm like, well, shit, like, did this dude like die or something like that? And like, now I can't get a hold of him. Now I'm stuck in Poland trying to get my way into Ukraine, and I'm blowing him up, calling him, texting him, getting nothing. So this foreigner that I met, we'll just call him Norway, because because I don't want to say his name. I don't want to give him any credit for anything because he's a piece of shit. But he was like, hey, I got a car. I'm driving into Ukraine tomorrow. You can just come with me. I was like, cool, sure. And he told me that, yeah, he was a French Foreign Legion, so he was a legionnaire. And then also he was an officer in the Norwegian army at some point. And he was probably, I think he's early 40s, mid 40s, I think is what he was. Maybe a little older. So I was like, okay, it kind of adds up. You know, you could have been an officer in the Norwegian army and then went to the French Foreign Legion. You know, it kind of adds. And so we sleep that night. The next morning we get up, we drive to Ukraine, and this is where my adventure starts. That's where all the next year of fun and heartache and stress and beautiful moments that I will have for the rest of my life start was on that trip to Ukraine. Leaving from that hotel to go into Ukraine. It was a phenomenal time. But I think we'll wrap it up with that one, and then the next video, I'll probably break this up into like several different videos and stuff like that. That way it's not just me rambling on for fucking 10 hours. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, or don't. I really don't care. I'm gonna put this content out anyways. If you got questions for me, you want me to go over different things, leave a comment. I also have my Instagram channel that I'm on kind of frequently. That guy Sleazy, SLEEZY. I'll try to put the link in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's kind of it. All I got for right now. Until next time.